Hello and welcome to another edition of UFO Video Addicts. Let me give you a quick preview of what I got coming up in this video. The first is a video that I know I've posted several times before, but like I've said, I'm always getting new subscribers. There are always new people seeing my channel for the first time. So occasionally, if there are certain videos that I think are, are important enough, or just important enough to, to show again, because some of these videos are super hard to find, I will, repost them. But if you've seen them, you can just fast forward through these videos. But this is a video of a UFO that was seen from a plane. Let's see if I can get a better shot of this thing. Oh yeah, this one right here. Let's see. I also have this one that was just recently uploaded, and it was taken by I think it was a news crew up in a helicopter in Southern California. And I'm pretty sure this is a missile launch, but just in case it isn't, I figured I'd post it on here. Kind of interesting enough. Also have this short video here about the Kecksburg, Pennsylvania UFO incident. And then let's see, I got two videos of these alien autopsies. Now, I want to post both of these to show you what a fake video looks like, and what I believe is a real one. Although a lot of people claim that that this video is fake, even the person who originally uploaded it. Let's see, yeah, it's somewhere in here where there's this guy who, Ray Santilli, who sold, he actually sold it. He claimed that it was fake, but I'm not so sure about that, because there's no doubt there's always a cover up. Like the government always tries to cover UFO sightings, like with the Phoenix Lights incident. You remember, when people saw the Phoenix Light, the military went ahead and shot up a bunch of flares. Same thing with the Mojave Desert triangle, UFO triangle that was seen. When the soldiers saw that UFO, the military then went and shot off flares, a bunch of flares, so that they can have a cover story and say that, oh, it was flares. So yeah, there's always an alternative story to try and cover up, real UFO sightings or real evidence like this. So this could be real. Again, I'm never 100% sure on any of these things. But let's see. I also have this video here. This is actually, it's James Fox talking about some information. Because the Ashley Banfield is referencing Chuck Schumer, who just recently introduced new legislation to declassify government records. I also have a New York Times story about that. And then let's see, I got this little clip here. Again, this is from News Nation too. You got to give it to News Nation. They're one of the few, I guess what I would consider establishment news that's really doing a lot on this this UFO disclosure. Let's see. I also have this article here about the Nuremburg UFO sighting from 1561. So, this was supposedly a giant battle that took place over the city of Nuremberg. And this was a woodcut that was created to show what some of the craft look like. And again, I said this before, whoever's operating these craft, right, if they had a battle in the sky, they're not coming from, other planets or other dimensions, or, coming back from the future. These crafts have been in our skies for as long as we've been keeping records. So they've definitely been here, longer than we have. Also have this story about these figurines called the Ubaid Lizardmen that were found all over Sumer. And I brought this up because I found this clip here, this photograph in Reddit about this family that has some kind of a congenital anomaly that deformed their faces. And, you can see they look kind of like these guys. But anyways, so yeah, so here's also the story in the New York Times. Again, I generally wouldn't post stories about the New York Times because, yeah, they're not the people of record anymore. They're definitely, you know, the main propaganda network for the Ministry of Truth. So yeah, but anyways, it just talks about how legislation backed by Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, would create a review board to declassify documents related to unidentified aerial phenomenon across the government. So yeah, again, this is all part of the slow drip, the disclosure process. Remember, like I said, it's not going to be an event. It can be, right? It's just a slow drip of information to get people acclimated or ready, to the idea that we're not alone in the universe, let alone the planet. And let's see. And then last is this PDF that I got right from NASA, from JPL's website. And it's about, this was news conference held in 2018 about an asteroid that they said is going to definitely impact the planet. But I think I found this on Reddit, and a person said that, that posted the link to this, said that there's some rumors that it might not actually be a meteor, but a possible visitor from another planet. And again, this is from NASA, which is never a straight answer. So yeah, same thing with establishment news. I wouldn't necessarily believe anything coming from certain organizations or certain news publications, but even if this is true, or this is going to be a visit from another planet, there are people who have said that something is supposed to happen in either 2025 or 2027. So maybe this is maybe there's some grain of truth to this. But anyways, yeah, again, if you've appreciate the time and effort that I put into bringing this information to you, please give this video a like, please share it, and more importantly, please subscribe. Because I'm looking at my analytics, and it's kind of depressing that so many people who regularly watch these videos, for whatever reason, don't want to put in the little bit of effort to just hit that like button. I mean, it's not costing you anything, does it? Anyways, let's go to this clip here. Again, this is just a real quick clip, 19 seconds long, but check this out. Anyways, that's that. Let's see. Yeah, now this one's kind of strange. This is a little kind of long. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but this, I think, yeah, again, I believe this is a news crew that's up in a helicopter who captured this object. Which, I mean, I would have to say it's most likely a missile launch.
What is that? Are you guys seeing this? What is this? Sharper Desk, there's something weird going on the eastern horizon. Western horizon. Is that like a missile or something? What the heck is going on? Oh my gosh, what is that? Oh my gosh, I don't know. It looks like a missile or something. What in the heck is going on? This is something I've never seen. That is crazy.
Yeah, let me just jump to the end because while you're watching this, when they try to zoom in on it, and I'm not seeing a missile though, but I mean I'm almost 90% positive this is a missile launch, but
yeah, it's really difficult to tell if that's coming, if it's going away or toward us.
Yeah, no, that's as close as they could get. But again, you know, the link will be in the description and you want to check it out. Let's see, this is a quick video about this Kecksburg UFO. You know, some people have said that this is I think it's called the Glockenstein Bell or something like that. But yeah, there's some stories out there how Germany created a UFO, and some people have claimed that when they tried it out, it you know, appeared in this Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, but I'm not too sure about that.
1965 in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. Eyewitness reports coupled with radar have confirmed a UFO moving across Canada, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. He appeared as a fireball to witnesses, yet seemed to be under intelligent control. Frances Caleb reported seeing something that appeared to be on fire when it crashed into the woods near her home. The Pennsylvania State Police immediately arrived, who in turn contacted Caleb and set up a meeting with her in Kecksburg. Then the state police searched the forest for the accident site. Murphy, a journalist who went to the scene, was anxiously awaiting a report from the police regarding the discovery. The only information the Pennsylvania State Police would release was that they were asking the U.S. military to take over. Unsatisfied, Murphy called the state police offices in Greensburg. Tell him he will have to visit the office to get a pass. By the time he reached their offices, the army was already there. Ironically, after finding something beyond the security expertise of the state police and calling the military, the official statement denied finding anything. Needless to say, Murphy was stunned and smelled a serious cover-up.
Yeah, there's always a cover-up. Anyways, link to that will be in the description. You want to watch the rest of it. Okay, now, like I said, I'm going to compare, you know, two of these videos. Now, this one, well, you know, again, it's obviously a fake. And, you know, and I've also seen a story about the production team that produced this clip for this Scientific America show. But anyways, let me just play a little bit of it so you can, you know, yeah, actually, let me just play the part where you see the actual autopsy. So yeah, so now this is all fake. And, you know, a lot of times I've seen photographs of this creature. But, you know, I think this is another one of those cases where they created a cover story in order to cover up the real video that Ray Santilli sold. But let me just play a little bit of this.
At a secret military installation somewhere in America, 2 Air Force pathologists examined the body of an alien being. A few weeks ago, the alien spacecraft crash-landed in the New Mexico desert, where it was discovered by a local rancher. All wreckage and alien remains were quickly impounded. All details are now classified top secret. An Air Force cameraman has been called in to document the autopsy of one of the aliens. It's an event of the utmost importance.
Yeah, you know, this definitely looks, I mean, authentic. If I were, you know, if I didn't know that it was fake, if I would have seen this, I would definitely think that it's authentic. But you know, you have to take into consideration that this was made by a Hollywood production company. You know, they had a large enough budget in order to create this, and, you know, also hire, you know, Alan Alda to make it. So yeah, anytime people claim that certain videos or evidence of UFOs, you know, like in my other video, I posted about those dead aliens that were found in the snow. Yeah, you know, those kinds of videos, they're not something that some kids can just put together over the weekend, right? All these things, I mean, to make them realistic, it takes a big budget.
The first evidence of a visit to Earth, of beings from another world. The alien is clearly advanced. It no longer needs large teeth to eat. The size of the skull indicates a highly developed brain. And the eyes appear to be protected from space rays by special contact lenses. It is 1947. To avoid public panic, the government suppresses all word of this historic event. But Scientific American Frontiers managed to acquire a copy of the film. Well, all right, disregard everything I just said. Actually, we faked the whole thing in a Hollywood special effects house run by Steve Johnson, who played the other pathologist in the Autopsy. Thanks. Good to get out of that. You're telling me.
Yeah. Now, in this clip, they do reference this the Ray Santilli film, which is I'm going to show next. But yeah, this definitely
Thing that made the other one
looks
false
I mean, yeah, this definitely looks authentic. They did a hell of a job.
is that there is absolutely no sense of weight to it. I mean, if you remember, they're kind of pretending to look in the mouth. They just do this kind of thing. They kind of pretend to examine the head, as opposed to doing what we've done here, really being able to see weight and mass. Now, that's one thing that really makes this much more believable, because you can pick it up. You can really see how a body would react. It's just as hard to do as it would be in reality.
In science, there's a useful doctrine called Occam's razor.
Anyways, that's just about as much as I want to play of that. Let's go to this clip here, which, again, even though, Santilli, who sold the film, claims that it's fake, I'm not so sure. And they also, say that some of the shots are out of focus, conveniently out of focus, or have, a doctor's shoulder in the way. But maybe that was just because, there just wasn't enough room for the cameraman to move around. Although, they do make some valid points. So again, with any of this stuff, I can't say with 100% certainty whether it's real or not. It's always a possibility that, any of these videos could be fake. So, all I'm doing is offering my opinion, and I'm always open to being wrong. One thing I want to mention about this video is, unlike the previous video, right, which, they readily admit that it's fake. I've also seen a story in some magazine which, showed the entire production crew and talks about the production house that, that created it. With this video, I mean, aside from, Ray Santilli's statement that it's fake, I have yet to see the production company. So no production company or producer has come out and said, yes, I made this fake video. And I don't think the internet has ever been able to identify or point to a specific person or company that created this video. What the hell happened there? Again, obviously, again, if this is real, this supposedly came from a crashed UFO. Well, yeah, here's some of the equipment that they supposedly found in the craft, and this is the some of the equipment that, who was it? I don't remember who talked about this, but they said that, you know, all you got to do is put your hand, you know, in these spaces, and the craft is controlled by your thoughts. This is also a piece that some people said says video. But anyways, this is, yeah, 20-minute clip. So the link will be in the description if you want to check out the rest of it. Let's go to this one here. You know, this is only 2:45. I'm not going to play this whole thing about James Fox talking about the story of Chuck Schumer introducing legislation to declassify government records related to unidentified anomalous phenomenon and UFOs as an amendment to the NDAA.
Read it to you. He says, I'm introducing new legislation to declassify government records related to unidentified anomalous phenomena and UFOs as an amendment to the NDAA, which is the National Defense Authorization Act, modeled after the JFK Assassination Records Collection Act. You are the first person I wanted to get reaction from with regard to that.
So I have to take a step back and talk about my meeting with former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid. Harry Reid started back in 2007 the now infamous ATIP, secret UFO Pentagon program. And one of the things that he shared with me was the level of pushback that he got from the intel community regarding this secret Pentagon UFO investigation. And he's like, hey, I'm just saying that we just should investigate these reports. And he literally said to me, they dug in their heels. They were giving so much pushback. Some people were fearful of even losing their jobs. So the problem here is the intel folks that have all the hard data, the classified material, the high resolution 4K satellite photographs, and I've talked to a number of people that have personally seen them, some of which have gone on camera. There's just nothing in it for them to share that with the general public. The problem is that the better the data, the better the eyewitness testimony, the more hard it is to provide a prosaic explanation for a incident, an encounter, the less likely that the general public is going to hear about it. So I think it's a great effort. I'm optimistic that we're even having these conversations. But the intel folks just have no incentive whatsoever to come out with this stuff because they're going to have a lot of explaining to do.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
Yeah, let's see, that's that. And then now I have this other clip. The same thing, it's from News Nation, but this is of what's his name? Sheehan? Who is the lawyer for Luis Elizondo. Oh yeah, Daniel Sheehan, who's a lawyer for Luis Elizondo. But listen to what he has to say here.
Including the Pentagon Papers. He is representing a UAP whistleblower and joins us live. Dan, thanks for being here on the Hill. So these congressional hearings potentially in the upcoming weeks, what can we expect from them?
Well, a lot of it depends upon the degree to which the Congress is willing to take steps to enforce the new law. There's a brand new law that was passed in December of 2022, setting up a new office called ATIP that is mandated by Congress to extract from all of the United States military services, all of the United States intelligence agencies, and importantly, from all of the U.S. government defense contractors. You know, all the information that they've ever acquired with regard to the UFO issue since January of 1945. So that's a lot of information, and we're perfectly certain that they have tons of this information that they've been hiding and lying to the public about consistently for 75 years. So
yeah, I mean, you mentioned 70.
Yeah,
you mentioned 75 years. There was a congressman back in March of 1966, and that congressman's name was Gerald R. Ford. And here's what he said then. He wrote, quote, "I am proposing hearings on the subject of UFOs and invite testimony from both the executive branch of the government and some of the persons who claim to have seen UFOs." That was a future president of the United States saying, we got to look into this 60 years ago. How come we don't have any answers now publicly, or why are we not closer to it at this point?
Well, because the national security state apparatus that's been set up since the National Security Act of 1947 has seized upon this information, and they view it as the most important top secret, above top secret category of information they have.
I also think that the people, I mean, I'm sure those are valid reasons what he's talking about, but I also think that that the people, the ruling class, so to say, right, that they have a better understanding of, or at least I think they do, of how the public is going to react, and I think they know that there's a large percentage of people who aren't going to be able to handle this information if it was just thrown at them. So so I think that there's a reason why there's or they're releasing this information little by little, because they just want to get people ready. It would be like someone jumping into freezing water, right? I think if they were to release all of this information all at once, I think it would be a shock to some people, so much so that that they just wouldn't be able to handle it. And again, I'm not positive about this, but I think it'll also have an impact on the economy, right? On the world economy, and the people in charge of keeping the machine running don't want to throw a wrench, into the machine. So I believe that that what they're doing, that there's a reason for it, and it's just because they understand. Because I mean, I know people, that even with all of this information out there, with the internet, how you can easily access this information, that they are still in denial. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson, I just saw the interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson on the theory of everything, and it's just so frustrating watching that guy dance around this this subject matter. How he's still in complete denial, and he's always creating the straw man argument. Trying to say, oh, there aren't any images out there or video out there, even though, everyone has a cell phone now. How come no one has video of these things when there's a ton of videos, right? I mean, just look at my channel, right? I mean, every other one of these videos, I'm putting footage that obviously someone, most likely captured on their cell phone. So the idea that there aren't any videos taken by people on their cell phone it's just ridiculous.
And so that they've been lying openly, not only to the public but to Congress about their knowledge about this. And just like I was the principal attorney that initiated.
But when you talk about this apparatus and you say they are lying, who is they?
This is the kind of highest reaches of the national security state. So the question is, what is the cartography of that exact national security state infrastructure? And the fact of the matter is that the agencies that have been made public to the American voters are not the complete story as to what groups exist. There's a group that was originally called Majestic 12 or MJ12. It was codenamed. There's some sort of group that is analogous to that is still operational for certain. We don't know what the name of it is because it's way above top secret. Actually categorized potentially as majestic top secret, and that they've been concealing the entire infrastructure of this national security state bureaucracy that's governing this information. Congress has to extract that information from the intelligence agencies.
You know, I also think that that this group of people that he's talking about, like the MJ-12 or whoever this group is that's in charge of the cover-up, I think that they must have a relationship with some of our underwater neighbors, and they've agreed to not release this information or to keep this information under wraps. Mainly because there were so many. I mean, although there's a ton of photographs and footage out there, we know that some of these crafts have the ability to cloak themselves. So, yeah, if our neighbors or our visitors, weren't concerned about us finding out about them, right? I don't think they would take the effort to hide themselves the way some craft do. But anyway, so let me move on here. Yeah, so now this is about this wood cutting, about the Nuremberg UFO sighting, battle of aliens in the sky over German city in 1561. It is still a myth for many people that a human has stepped foot on the lunar surface since the 1960s. The world has been influenced by a lot of conspiracies moving around the space race, but it has provided the potential to create a sci-fi fiction that helps broaden human thought. Probably cinema has influenced people to believe in otherworldly life. Are aliens behind UFOs? It is still a quiz for researchers, but back in the 16th century, something happened in the sky of the German city of Nuremberg, which stunned the people as they witnessed a sort of aerial battle like multiple UFO sightings. On April 14, 1561, a horrific incident occurred in Nuremberg that became one of the unexplained sightings in history. Several residents saw numbers of objects in various shapes, cylindrical, spherical, triangle, in the sky during the sunrise between 4 and 5 a.m. They described the scene as a dogfight. The objects flew across the sky, and some eyewitnesses claimed to have seen a black triangular object before hearing a distinctive crash coming from the outer regions of the city. Yeah, so now, because of this event here is why I believe that there are multiple advanced species sharing the planet with us, right? And, for whatever reason, they were having a battle. And, depending on, which particular species, or depending on a different particular species, it's the shape of the craft they use. But I think, I think, some of the species are using these cylindrical ones. Other species are using the saucer-shaped ones. And then, you got all these other strange ones. But there was definitely, a battle. And, even Linda Moulton Howe has talked about how several of them, like 3 or 4 of them, are vying for control of this planet. But anyways, let me just move on to this, this one here about these Lizardmen figurines. It is widely recognized in mainstream archaeology that civilization began in Iraq in ancient Mesopotamia with the vast Sumerian civilization. This is, however, an archaeological find of the Ubaid archaeological site, where several pre-Sumerian 7,000-year-old artifacts portraying humanoid creatures with lizard features were discovered. Yes, we're talking about genuine male and female reptile statues in a variety of poses. Yeah, so they have the females that are suckling babies. And, remember, this was 7,000 years ago, right? Our planet went through an extinction level event, a little more than, 3,000 or 4,000 years before this civilization, again, arose in the middle of the desert, with these people building these large cities that required advanced math, advanced engineering, and building knowledge. So, again, there's just no way, right? Hunter-gatherers, primitive hunter-gatherers just woke up one day and knew how to build a city, with different levels and different occupations or roles for people. In order to run a city, you have to have administrators. You have to have an understanding of how to manage a large population of people. And the occupants or the individuals who were in charge of these cities in early Iraq and Greece, and and in other cities around the Mediterranean, that they knew what they were doing. Yeah, there was no, I don't think they had to go through any type of learning process of how to run a city, how to assign, specific roles to certain people. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I just wanted to show this because of this photo that I found here about this Manuring family lives in Sumatra. Of the 5 people, father and 4 daughters, 4 have a strange congenital anomaly that deformed their faces, turning them into aliens or reptilian hybrids, as they were nicknamed on the internet. But look at these people. And look at the one daughter here, normal looking, but these people have this, well, they're calling it a congenital anomaly. But there's a lot of similarities. Well, not a lot of similarities, but some similarities between this family. And this is a, modern day family. Anyways, that's that. Let's go to this article here from this propaganda rag. Bipartisan measure aims to force the release of UFO records. Legislation backed by Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, would create a review board to declassify documents related to unidentified aerial phenomena across the government, excuse me. Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, the Majority Leader, is pushing legislation to create a commission. When was this? When did this come out? Oh yeah, so this is from July 13th. Commission with broad authority to declassify government documents about UFOs and extraterrestrial matters in an attempt to force the government to share all that it knows about unidentified phenomena. The measure offers the possibility of pushing back against the conspiracy theories that surround discussions of UFOs and fears that the government is hiding critical information from the public. Yeah, you remember the term conspiracy theories, right? It was coined by the CIA in order to discredit any person who came too close to the truth, right? And every conspiracy theorist I know is a critical thinker, is able to use logic and deductive reasoning, to come to their own conclusions or valid conclusions, as opposed to people that either don't have the mental faculties or the intellectual capacity to question, certain matters. So the idea that conspiracy theory is a term to ridicule someone, I kind of take that term as a badge of honor. The legislation which Mr. Schumer will introduce as an amendment to the annual defense policy bill has bipartisan support, including that of Senator Mike Rounds, Republican of South Dakota, and Senator Marco Rubio, Republican of Florida, who has championed legislation that has forced the government to release a series of reports on unidentified phenomena. Support in the House is also likely. On Wednesday, the chamber included a lower measure in its version of the annual defense bill that would push the Pentagon to release documents about unidentified aerial phenomenon. While the government has agreed not to call mysterious sightings UFOs, various branches and agencies disagree on whether to refer to aerial phenomenon or anomalous phenomenon. Now remember, the reason why they changed it from UFOs, right, unidentified flying objects, to aerial phenomenon and now anomalous phenomenon is because they've acknowledged that these crafts are not only, flying in the air, but that these crafts are also underwater and that these crafts are out in space. So, you don't fly in space and you don't fly underwater. But, they know that these crafts are transmedium, right? Which is, they go from the water to the air and then out in space, or from space to the air and then back in the water. So, yeah, they're not just flying. They are anomalous phenomenon. The Senate measure sets a 300-day deadline for government agencies to organize their records on unidentified phenomena and provide them to the review board. Yeah, even with this legislation, these guys aren't going to release everything. Come on, right? You gotta acknowledge that, even people like Chuck Schumer, right? They don't care about us. You know what I mean? If they actually cared about people, right? Minimum wage wouldn't still be $7.25, and we'd have single payer health care. Right? The fact that we don't have those things, and the only time there's ever generally bipartisan consensus is when it comes to giving themselves rages or starting new wars. But anytime Congress has to do something for the government or do something for the people, it's always a fight. We got to fight for that. But yeah, when it comes to social welfare for the ruling class, so that they can start wars and profit from people's health, yeah, there's no fight. It's just, yep, let's do it. Anyways, this last document here is right from the JPL NASA website. It's about this asteroid that they said is going to for sure hit Earth, someplace in China. Based on new tracking observation taken this week, and remember, this came out in 2018. Based on new tracking observations taken this week, IAWN has confirmed that asteroid 2017 PDC is on a course that almost certainly will impact the Earth on July 21st, 2027, less than 9 years from now. The asteroid brightened just enough to be detected by the NASA's Hubble Space Telescope and the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan's Large 8 Meteor Subaru Telescope. The new measurement did not eliminate the possibility of impact as had hoped. IAWN now estimates the impact probability at 96%. Prior to this week, the asteroid was unobservable for 11 months, during which time the impact probability was 26%. After this week, the asteroid is again too faint to be observed for another 11 months. The possible impact locations are confined to a region stretching from China across North and South Korea, Japan, and into the Pacific. So here's a little map of, again, where they're pretty positive it's going to hit. Nations most at risk from the effects of a land impact or airburst are China, North and South Korea, and Japan. When is 2017 PDC visible from Earth? Apparent magnitude. Now, I'm not too sure how to read this chart here, but apparently we're going to, so supposedly during certain times of the month we should be able to see it, like we're in, 2023? And then now 2024, I see it even better. Position of the 2017 PDC relative to Earth and Sun. Yeah, I'm not too sure how to read this. So, this is the Sun. Yeah, I have no idea how to read this chart here. AIWN updated its size estimate for the 2017 PDC based on NEOWISE observation. The new size estimate is 200 to 280 meters. Spectral measurements made in May and June 2017 indicate that 27 PDC is a C-type asteroid. Further refinements to the taxonomy will be available soon from the recently launched James Webb Space Telescope. Back in April 2017, radar astronomers had already put an upper bound of 300 meters on the size estimate based on non-detection at 0.13 AU. Photometry and light curve measurements were also made in April through June 2017, but they were ambiguous and a definitive rotation period was not established. Non-principal axis NPA rotation is indicated. Simulated 1,000 impact cases for each swath point, sampling from uncertainty distribution of size, density, and strength according to the given knowledge about the asteroid for each inject option. Local population affected by blast overpressure and/or tsunami is computed for each sampled impact case. For blast overpressure, different fractions of the population are counted as affected depending on the blast overpressure level. 10% of people within the 1 to 2 psi zone, 30% within the 2 to 4 psi zone, 60% within the 4 to 10 psi zone, and 100 within the 10 plus psi zone. Different fraction of the population is counted as affected. For tsunamis, fractions of the inundated population are counted as casualties depending on flood depth, averaging to about 10% of the inundated population. The maximum affected population for blast or tsunami is taken as the affected population for each sampled impact case. Blast damage zone plots. Google Earth plots showing blast overpressure zones along the swath 1 to 2 psi, 2 to 4 psi, 4 to 10 psi, and 10 plus psi. Mean affected population plot. Color map of the mean affected population for each swath point. Points are plotted at the mean impact coordinates for each swath point, which varies for each realization depending on where it bursts along the trajectory. Points are sized by the mean 1 psi damage area. For small type footprints, also included an alternative version of this plot that small points rather than sizing them to the 1 psi region. Damage level probabilities. Histograms showing the probability of various damage levels. You know, I think they're saying that when this thing starts to come in, there's going to be some pressure. Pressure is going to be created, and maybe that's going to affect people. Yeah, I don't understand what some of this means here. Damage level probabilities. Space mission plans. Over the last 18 months, the Space Mission Planning Advisory Group has been very active in advising for and coordinating an international program of space missions to 2017 PDC. Several types of space missions are under development. Early fast flyby characterization launch in October 2019, flyby May 2020. So I guess they've already done this stuff. Rendezvous characterization and observer spacecraft launch in June 2020, arrival in May 2023. Kinetic impact eastwards launch in March 2020, deflection February 2024. 6 spacecraft. What? So they're going to try and set something to deflect it? Kinetic impactor westwards launch in July 2023, deflection February 2024. So we're in July right now. Has anyone heard anything about any space missions to deflect an asteroid? I don't know what any of this stuff here means. But, you know, I also kind of believe that, remember, you know, we are not alone on this planet. So I would have to assume that, you know, our underwater or underground neighbors might somewhat be impacted by this. So would they do anything to try and deflect a meteor impact? Again, if it is a meteor impact, you know, I mean, again, some people think that it's actually going to be a visit, a large spaceship that is visiting from another planet. Again, and I know that, you know, that some meteor that did blow up over our in our atmosphere was deflected. There was the Chelyabinsk meteor that hit in Russia. There's, you know, footage, I've played it, of a UFO or something that comes and actually impacts it and helps it to break up before it did, you know, major damage. But anyways, yeah, this is a long video here. I'm gonna have to end it right here. You know what? If you, oh yeah, you know, thank you very much for making it to the end. And like I said before, if you appreciate the time and effort that I put into bringing this information to you, please give this video a like. Please share it. And more importantly, please subscribe, because I'll have more things like this. Take care.